Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with Be Creative. Today's video, I'm going to be making something with this turkey feather. So in addition to the feather, I have this wooden bead that has a really big hole in it. And then this bead that also has a big hole, this is a Jesse James bead. You know, I got to have some bling in this. And I'm going to use some 20 gauge wire. And then, of course, I'm going to need all my tools, my wire cutters, round nose pliers, and my flat nose pliers. So I have made several things with feathers before. I have made earrings and necklaces. And most recently, I made a really cool boho dangle. And I believe I'm going to have that in my craft fair that I'm doing here in a few weeks. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if it's up yet or if it's going to be up here in a little bit, but I did do a short video showing the boho dangle. But today, that's what we're going to make out of this. And I'm not really for sure. I know, like I said, we're going to use the wooden bead and this little crystal here and some wire. And I may add to it as we go. When I create, that's kind of what I like to do. I kind of have an idea in my head, and then sometimes I add more things to it. All right, let's get to creating. So this feather actually came from a turkey that my husband hunted. We do not buy much meat at all in the store. We buy chicken, and that's about it. My husband hunts, and that's the meat we eat. So if he's lucky enough to get a turkey, those feathers are absolutely gorgeous. Turkeys are really beautiful animals. And so this actually came from one of the turkeys that he got. And it's been cleaned. And I actually had a lot of feathers in the freezer, cleaned them up, and they are ready to go now. So what I'm going to do, I think I want to put this crystal bead at the bottom and then the wooden bead at the top. I'm going to put that down. I need to have a little bit of this sticking out. And then I'm going to get my wire, and I want enough where that, see if I can do this. See if this will fit. I want enough where I can make a bail. Is that going to work? Aha. I think it's going to work. It's not. Okay. So, stick these back here. So basically what I'm going to have to do is do some wrapping and wiring. So I'm going to put my wire with quite a bit sticking out here like this. And then I'm just going to start wrapping really, really tight. And then I am going to go ahead and wire down. I think I want the wire to be in the front, so do it this way. The bead keeps slipping down. And then I'm going to wire around a couple of times. Move that. And wire around that crystal. Wire around a couple of times. And then I'm going to go back up. Up to here, and notice I do leave my wire on the spool because I'm really not knowing how much I'm going to use. And I'm going to come back around, and then I'm going to wrap. I'm going to stop right there because I am going to make my loop here. And since I want a pretty big loop, I'm going to go down like that. And then I'm going to wrap around a couple of times before I grab my feather, and then I'm going to grab the feather with this and wrap around. Take that out. Okay, now I'm going to go back to wiring with this. And it's a messy wire, just catch that there, come back down. And you use quite a bit of wire here. And I think that's all I'm going to use there. You can see some of the feather in there, but that's fine. This is very organic. I got to find a place to tuck this in. There we go. And you can leave it at that if you want, or you can add more to it. So let me show you what I did with this guy. This is quite a bit bigger feather. And I did it the same way. I only had one bead there. But I added this little dangle. It's a howlite bead that looks like a horn. And then I used some sari ribbon and wire to make this giant bead. And of course, I had to add some crystals to it. And then I just crocheted this little loop here to hang it. So I actually think I might just leave it like this. I do need some type of a way to hang it though. I like to use either jute or hemp, and I'm not going to show you how to crochet, but basically what I do is I crochet a chain stitch. I do leave quite a bit at one end. And I crochet a chain stitch of about, depending on my piece, 15 to 30 chains. And I do have a video, an old video on how to crochet a chain stitch. And maybe I'll leave a link at the end of this so you can check that out if you don't know how to crochet a chain stitch. I'm counting. That's 10. 11, whoops, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Yeah, I just think I'm going to do 15. So then I'm going to trim this off. Where are my scissors? And pull it through. And then I'm just going to do an overhand knot. And pull each of these legs. Actually, you know what? When I'm thinking about it, that crochet, how to do a chain stitch, is on my Tappingflamingo, aka the Bohemian Hippie channel. So I'll try to remember to leave a link in the description box so you can check that out if you want to learn to do a chain stitch, or you can go on YouTube all over the place and there's different tutorials. That's what I do. When I'm looking about how to do something, I will look at a lot of different tutorials. All right, so I'm just taking one or two of those little leg thingies, and I'm going to tie a knot. And then I'm going to tie an overhand knot. And the reason I do that, let me show you, is if I don't, these are separate. Now, if you want them separate, that's fine. I actually like mine together. And honestly, I kind of wish I had more of a presence up here. So you know what? I'm going to add more. Let me get this twine here. And I think I'm going to get about, that's one. I think I'm going to get 3. Since I'm not adding a big bead or something to the top like I did with that other one I showed you, I want more of a presence up here, and you'll understand what I'm talking about here in just a minute. First off, I think I'm going to go ahead and trying to figure out how I want to do this. Probably should go ahead and put these in. You got to be careful with your feathers too. You don't want to break them. They are very fragile, so just remember that. Okay. To tie these in a knot. All right, so now I have all these things going every which way. Like I said, you could leave it like that, or you can do what I'm going to do and do an overhand knot so they're all together. And I hope I left enough room for all that. You know what? I may not be doing that. I didn't leave enough room. But you know what? I think it's going to be okay. Let me get all these tightened. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do here is I'm going to take a sharp object. You can use a needle or a pen. And I'm going to separate the fibers of these out. So I'm just going to twist it. And you can see how the fibers are separating. You take your little instrument. Sometimes you may have to go down at the bottom to start. Like that. And you do that with every one of these little guys. This really adds a lot to the boho look. Let me finish all these. I'm not going to bore you with watching me shred these all up. But once I get done, I will come back and show you what's next. Now, as I'm unwinding all these fibers, I'm going to go ahead and trim some of them. I've already done some of them, but I don't need all that. See how they're uneven? So I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably do some more trimming, but it just makes it easier to unravel all those fibers if they're not so long. I got about half of them done, so let me finish the other half. So I think I'm finished with it. As I was shredding these fibers up, I thought, you know what, it needs something. So I went and these jumped out to me. They are They're just calling them green, but they're a light green. And I think they go really well with this. Very organic. And over time, this tassel will kind of start laying down a little bit better. But there we go. There is my boho tassel made with a turkey feather and some wire and wood bead. And this really pretty bead here from Jesse James Beads. They got some really cool beads. I'm actually getting ready to have a craft fair or be involved in a craft fair in the next couple of weeks. And everything in there is going to be boho. And I think this will go really good in there, along with this turkey feather boho dangle. I want to thank y'all for joining me. Y'all have a great day. This is Terry Jeanette with Be Creative, signing out for now. Bye-bye.